Hello, our wonderful research class. We're here for discussion 2. Let's get into it. So the 3 articles that we read, the last 2 were about the same guy, and then the first one was about Staple is what we're gonna call him. Staple, I think. Yeah. So what do I think about this research? I think it is so interesting. Like it's crazy how like they just made stuff up. Well, the first guy, how he just like made stuff up, and the second guy, how he just like went back and like changed everything. And when I was first like starting to read like the second article, I was kind of like they were talking about how it's like dishonest to like go back and like change your hypothesis. And part of me, the like ignorant part of me, is like, well, isn't that kind of part of the scientific process that you like go back and you like change your mind? But then as I like read more of the article and like read the second one, it was more like it was a very malicious intent behind it. It wasn't like an honest intent. It was like, oh, we need to salvage this work somehow, so we're gonna come up with stuff. What does this make you think about? I feel like it's kind of the same question. Probably just that like there's just this crazy pressure on these researchers to produce something, and for it to be something that's like good enough to be published and to be included in like these peer-reviewed academic circles, right? And I think some of them mentioned like the grants and like the funding that goes into it. Like you're competing for this money, and you want to be able to get it, right? You want to be able to get the funding to continue research. And in order to do that, you have to like produce results. And so there's this pressure put on the scientists to, even if their experiment like fails, to make it, to save it somehow. So that's kind of what I think about. How does this make you view research? It makes me feel a little bit more skeptical. That just because you see it there doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. And it might look totally legit and look like it came from a good source. Like we read that article last time, the one that they fabricated, and it looked totally legit and fine. Which something about the way that assignment was phrased made me think that there was something off, but reading through it, I couldn't figure out what it was. I was like, I guess we're good. We were not good, and now we know why. But yeah, so just like having more of like this critical, skeptical view of research, of like not everything is going to be 100%, and don't like base everything on one study and one perspective, you know. How does this change your perspective of your own work? Or does it say how, or does? Oh, does this? Yeah, I would say it does. It just kind of makes me think like I've got to be careful when I'm going through articles and like really finding things that are solid and confirmed. So I definitely think that it changes my own perspective, and making sure that I'm staying academically honest, and I have integrity. So, and then any other thoughts or comments? No, I liked reading these articles instead of research articles, because research articles scare me and they are not my favorite. And so I liked that we had a little bit of a change of pace, and reading like journalistic articles instead. So that was kind of a nice little comment, because research articles scare me, but I have to read so many of them. Oh, so scary. This class is crazy. Okay. And then part 2, reflect on my own research topic and problem statement. What is my research problem and why did I choose it? So I went with, oh, let me see if I pulled it up. Okay, nope, I don't have it pulled up. Okay, let me pull it up. I went with, so when I was looking through them, I was hoping that the one that I was interested in also matched a professor that I knew, and it actually did, and I was so happy. So I chose responsibilities of FCS teachers, lab equipment, preps, budgeting, multifaceted teaching is the one that I decided to go with. And I had so much fun looking for articles, and that was kind of what cemented to me that I picked the right one, was because I was enjoying looking for the articles. And I know I've experienced this because I have made friends with a lot of the teachers at my school, and like I'm pretty good friends with a social studies teacher. He teaches AP human geography, which is like not an easy class. Like that's a tough class, but he kind of sees what I do, and we do student council together. So he'll like come to my, we'll do stuff in my room, and I've got all my supplies, and I'm like managing stuff. And he has told me on several occasions, he's like, yeah, your job is harder than mine. And like that's just kind of stuck with me, that going through school, and especially when I'm like my first year teaching as an intern, that idea never occurred to me that other teachers in the building had it easier than I did, because I just kind of knew like this was what I signed up for. And just like all the extra responsibilities that come with being an FCS teacher. And there's so many like that people don't really think about. Like I have to clean out my sewing machines and my sergers every couple months, you know, because they get really dirty. And I have to figure out, how am I going to organize fabric, and what's the easiest way for students to get the materials that they need, and how do I keep everything organized and clean, and where's the best places to store things in my classroom, and what's the best ways to turn in projects, and it's just, and like the best way to move around my room, like all of these procedures that I had to think about a lot, is kind of what made me want to research this a little bit more. And like, are there any ways that we can make this easier for FCS teachers, or compensate them in some way, or train them better so that they are better equipped for that? What are you interested in that made it sound like a good idea? So I feel like I answered that. So just my own life experience, right, of dealing with that. Oh, budgeting was another thing. Like I was given a budget, like this is how much money I get to spend. How am I going to spend it? And at first I was really scared to spend money, but then you get to the end of the year and you're like, no, you have all this money, you have to spend it. It's like the Office episode with the surplus, right? So, and then I was like rushing, like, oh, okay, I guess I'm buying all this stuff. And then I bought stuff for next year, and then it comes in and I don't know where to store it. And it's just like this huge cycle that I'm like, I wasn't prepared for this. So now that I'm in my 3rd year, just barely started my 3rd year teaching, and it's crazy that I feel so much like you just get better at stuff the more you do it, right? And so I feel a lot better going into this year than I have the last 2 years. But I still think there's so much more to learn. And so I'm really fascinated just by this topic. And so we're going to see what we come up with. I am noticing there wasn't a lot of articles about like the budgeting aspect, at least not that I could find. So that was a little something I wanted to look into. There was a little bit about like, there was a lot about like the importance of work-based skills and lab-based and project-based, that kind of like learning experiences, and how like important they are, but not a lot about like how to support teachers in creating those experiences. So that's something that I would love to look into a little bit more, and how best we can help our FCS teachers be, the best that they can be. So there you go. Sorry, my video is a little long, but I had fun with my research problem. So we'll see you guys in the other videos. Bye-bye.